G'day linesman, welcome to the Trap Chat, the best place for football news. You know the drill. Today we're just going to talk about all the football headlines, football news that came up today. Just talk about it, I'll give my thoughts, give some speculations about what's happening, and just have some fun overall. And it might be a bit of a long one today, a few topics to get through. So I might split these videos up into different parts depending on what topic they are. And also I'll leave down in the description below an audio file so you guys can just listen to that whenever you want without having to look at my ugly face. Now, let's get right into it. The first story today is a bit of a rumour. Mbappe to Liverpool is the rumour. It is kind of the first I've heard of it, like in a serious tone. It's come from the Mundo Deportivo website or newspaper, whatever that is, but they are suggesting that Mbappe is rumoured to be heading to Liverpool. This comes because apparently Mbappe was going to Real Madrid. They were looking to sign him, but Mundo Deportivo is suggesting that they are struggling a bit, and apparently Liverpool's going to swoop him up and pick him up. Now, will this happen? I'm just going to bluntly come out and say, no, I don't think this will happen. You have to look at Mbappe as a player. This guy is only young. He's one of the best forwards in the world. So he's worth about 180 million euros, and that's from the transfermarket.com. But his price could jack up to 200 plus. He's that good. Probably one of the most promising players out there today. He's also PSG's top player. 23 games, 16 goals, 9 assists. He's their top goal scorer, their top performer. I don't think PSG are going to let him go. Can it happen? No, I don't think so. Maybe in the future, if he does want to leave PSG, he can go and find a new club. Maybe then. I don't think it'll happen anytime soon. We have the Euros coming up. We've got the World Cup. I don't think he'll be looking to change clubs at any point in time. PSG are top of the table, tied with Lille, 45 points in 21 games. I think he's in a good position there. Now, do I think he should move clubs? Liverpool would be a pretty awesome club for him to go to. Imagine that front line there. I mean, would that mean that Salah has to go, or one of the wingers, or he can even play striker? Imagine that lineup with Mane, Mbappe, Salah. Ooh, I don't know. But I do think that if I was him, I would want to leave PSG pretty soon. It is a really good club for development. But that's just me. I wouldn't want to play in League. I think that it's a bit too easy over there. I would want to challenge myself. Now, it depends on Mbappe as a player. Does he want to go to a different club and challenge himself? I do think that they have a good chance of winning the Champions League pretty soon. I don't think PSG are on a downhill at all. I think they're investing in their team, so I don't think A, they'd want to sell him, and B, I don't think he'd want to go at the moment. Definitely not to Liverpool. I don't think they're going to sell. They're going to buy a player for 200 million plus, as good as he is. I just don't see this happening anytime soon. Even for Real Madrid, or it'd be a big buy, probably break the bloody bank. So, look, leave your thoughts down below. Do you think Mbappe will leave PSG to Liverpool even? Let me know. And speaking of Liverpool, we'll go on to the next topic, and that is about Alexander-Arnold. Now, young Trent, has come into a bit of criticism. Apparently, his form has dropped during the past few games, and ex-Liverpool midfielder Dietmar Hamann has come out and said that the criticism is ridiculous of Alexander-Arnold during this little blip that he's experiencing. Now, he's come out and said, the only thing that surprises me is that the blip didn't come earlier. If you play on a weekly basis or every 3 days, the standard he has set has been exceptional, has been faultless for 2 years. He has played over 100 games and he's only 22. It is understandable that there has been a blip. I expected it to come a lot earlier. At the moment, there are hardly any other options at right back. I think he needs a break, but with the injuries and the players that are out at the moment, the manager feels he can't give him a rest. I think the criticism towards him is ridiculous. Both fullbacks have now been the best two fullbacks in the world for the past 2 years. And now to have to go at a player who is very young still, he has had a few average games and hasn't had an assist for a few months is ridiculous. I think he's a quality player. Robinson, and so is Robinson, and fatigue is just catching up with the pair of them. Once they have a break, we will see different players again. I hope he stays at Liverpool because at the moment there are not too many fullbacks around that can do what Alexander-Arnold could. Now, is Harmon right? He Trent has had a bit of a blip. Is he a bit out of form? And I would say, yeah, he is. But so is the whole Liverpool team. You know, they haven't been what they were last season. And I don't think, you know, them losing a few games is at fault to Alexander-Arnold at all. Now, it does make sense. You know, this year he's played 22 games, 0 goals and 4 assists. And everyone's comparing it to last season. You know, he had probably his best season ever. And he was touted as one of the best fullbacks then as well. But last season, 49 games, 4 goals, 15 assists. That's fucking crazy. 15 assists for a fullback. And this is in all competitions. So I think, and look, you compare that to 0 goals, 4 assists so far. It's only halfway through the season. Has he had a bit of an out of form experience? Look, yes, I think he has a bit, but I wouldn't say it's anything to worry about. It's not a problem. He's going to return to his best, I think, and I do presume. You can look at, you know, a few games. The Southampton game, he wasn't up to scratch that much. That was probably his worst game for a while. And then you can say, is this due to fatigue? As what Harmon said, is he playing too much? You know, he's played 22 games halfway through the season. I think with COVID and everything, the games are all a bit clumped together. Yeah, you can argue fatigue, but I don't think it's too much of a problem. Like, he has been playing most games, but is that, you know, there's been other players who are performing quite well with these amount of games. It isn't more games than average, so you can put it down to that. Will he come back with a bit of a break? Sure, maybe that's what he needs. Some players play better with more games. Some players need rests. I think he'll come back. It's no problem at all. Look, Liverpool coming fourth. They've played 19 games, 9 wins, 7 draws, 3 losses. It's really not that bad, guys. They're only 6 points from the top. I think they have many chance to come back. Only 6 points. And this, I think the form of Alexander-Arnold is also coming from like the Liverpool's form overall. They haven't scored goals for a while before that Man U game. And if you look at the fullback, 0 goals isn't bad. 4 assists is pretty good. I wouldn't count goals as a bad thing. But I think it's fine. Will he return to his best? Sure. He's only 22 years old. The world is at his feet. I think he'll come back. Liverpool just need to start playing a bit more, a bit better. And back to old Trenty boy. Now, let's go. Well, guys, let me know what you guys think. Do you think he's finished as a player? Surely not. So, guys, put that down below in the comments or wherever you are letting me know. And we'll go to the next story. And Guardiola's come out before the Man City game against West Brom. And he's just made a few statements here. First statement here is calling Big Sam Allardyce, a genius. And we'll just pull up his quotes here. Big Sam. I have done a rap parody about him. Love it when they call me Big Sam, man. Go check that out. One of my favorites, underrated. Now, Guardiola has come out and said, "It is not easy to take over a team during the season, but against Wolves, Liverpool, other clubs, he got good results. Sam Allardyce is a genius to take these teams when everyone believes it is over and get results. The results give you an incredible boost, an incredible confidence. What is first? Do results make you play good, or do you play good if you get results? I think both are connected. We are just at the end of January, so it is just West Brom trying to analyse them and make a good game to get another victory. The leader is united. They are top of the league. The moment we have all games together, we will see. Now, we are not top of the league, and the difference to 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th is so close, so narrow, but I didn't look at the table much when we were 12th and 8 or 9 points behind the leaders, and now is the same." Now, yeah, just like I was saying with the Liverpool, the gap between 6th to 1st, whatever, it's pretty narrow. So I think all these teams have a good chance of coming back, getting that top 4 spot. Now, his comments on Big Sam, is the guy a bloody genius? Look, I've always liked Big Sam. I think he's been a good coach. He's come into struggling sides, and then he's always seemed to make them win, make them click. The guy hasn't had a really good rap in recent years, though. I think he needs I would love to see him at a decent club for a while, but that's none here or there. Now, West Brom are coming 19th. They played 19 games, 2 wins, 5 draws, and 12 losses. Sam's come in and coached 7 games, 1 win, 1 draw, 5 losses. I think look, West Brom, bit of a fucking struggle to come in there and start performing, but he did play well against the Wolves, managed to get a draw out of Liverpool. I think hopefully he can come back and get West Brom out of the relegation zone. Do I think that West Brom can beat City? Now, there's something in me thinking that West Brom can come out and beat City. But if you look at City's form, they're coming second, 18 games, 11 wins, 5 draws, 2 losses. They've won like 10 in a row. So that will be hard for West Brom to come and beat them. But I do think that this is where Big Sam shines. The big games, I think he can... Look, I think that this, if you wanted to put money on it, maybe go for the underdog West Brom here. But then you got to think with your head. Guardiola, Man City, 10 games in a row. They're in fine form. They're just clicking. I think they'll probably come out here with the win. And that's just safe to say. But, is Big Sam a genius? Yeah, I'd say he's a pretty smart guy. Pretty smart manager. And as I said, I'd love to see him in a pretty decent club. Hopefully he brings West Brom back out of relegation zone and they just start clicking as well. And hopefully he can stay there for a while. But, let's see what happens there. Guardiola's also come and commented on Aguero. If we can just pull this little quote up here. He's also come and commented on Aguero, who has been out, hasn't played a while. He's only played 5 games this season. And he's just pretty much come out and said, "I'm so optimistic. He's going to help us in decisive moments to give us the goals and the difference that we need. I'm so confident it's going to happen. He needs the special sharpness and the first steps for this quality to score a goal, but it depends on him. At the end, we'll see him in the training session and on the pitch, and it's easy to realise if he's fit or not. But hopefully he can help us with the special quality he has. That's why he's one of the best strikers ever, not just in England, all time in football history." Now that's a big call, Pep. That's a big call. But he's also gone on and said, "The important thing is when we texted him during the first 3 or 4 days, he struggled. He felt so tired, but today he sent a message to the backroom staff to say he feels much better. Now he needs to test negative and abide by the protocols and then start to come back here and move and see how he feels day by day. I cannot tell you when he will be back. I don't know how he will react in the first days when we start to train. I know all the predictions are who will be champions, how many points, how many games, and you always look far away, and that doesn't work in this world. Anyway, he goes on to talk about winning games and stuff, and he's only focused on West Brom with Man City, which is fair enough. But the question asks, well, let's start off. He'll be back soon, Aguero. He's in COVID lockdown. He's only played 9 games this season with 2 goals. That ain't much at all. It's not pretty. But the question is, I'm asking, when he comes back, will he be a starter? You know, we've seen Man City win 10 in a row. It looks like they're clicking. You have players stepping up, Jesus, Phil Foden, they're scoring goals, but will Aguero be a starter in this team, or will he be a detriment? Because, as I said, they've found their form. I think that he will be. You know, they need another striker up front there, even though they've been doing pretty well with the goals. Midfielders stepping in, the wingers, Sterling, Mahrez. I think that he will come back. I think that's pretty certain, unless he's just horrible. It might take him a few days to come back in his best form. As Guardiola said, he needs that special little thing to happen, but I think it's pretty justified to say that he's coming back and he will be a starter once again for City. Now, another comment that Guardiola has stated is that he is one of the best of all time, one of the best forwards of all time. I'll just pull that quote up again. Why did I get rid of it? Okay, here we go. What did he say? That is why he's one of the best strikers ever, not just in England, all time in football history. One of the best strikers ever. That is a big call. I do have probably one of the best Premier League players ever, that's for sure. But would you really say he's one of the best strikers ever? Let's look at his stats. He's played 647 games all time, 374 goals, 119 assists, and he's definitely one of the best. Well, he was one of the best forwards currently playing in the world at that time. Not best ever. He is a top striker, that's for sure. But to say he is one of the best ever, I don't know. Would you guys put him on your best ever of all time as a striker? I definitely would not. Is he up there with Ronaldo, Brazilian Ronaldo? No. I don't know. He is definitely at that top tier in footballer, like the top tier in forwards. I wouldn't say he's the top tier, but he's like one of the highest. He's won 4 Premier Leagues, 1 FA Cup, 1 Europa League. They are the cups that matter, the ones that I pulled out there. Look, 4 Premier Leagues, amazing feat. But I think he's lacking. To call him the best, one of the best forwards of all time ever in history of football, I think he needs to win a few more trophies. Let me know after when he starts to win Champions Leagues and World Cups, and then we can say he's one of the best ever. But now I don't think he's up there at all. It's what do you guys think? I mean, I don't think I've ever seen him on an all-time list for best ever, period. Premier League, definitely. I think you can argue that he's up there with the Thierry Henrys, etc. 4 Premier Leagues, that's amazing. Look, still only 1 FA Cup, 1 Europa League. That's his best European trophy. Even internationally, he's won nothing. So, yeah, come back to me a bit later. Hopefully they could win the Champions League or something this year, but I don't think it's going to happen. But that's just me. Anyway, that brings us on to another story. Guardiola has come out and commented on the Frank Lampard sacking, and that brings us to the Frank Lampard sacking, which was huge, happened last night. And look, I'll just come out and say before we get into the comments of everything else that's happened around this, I'll come out and say that I do not think that the Lampard sacking was justified. It was just a tough situation, really. Obviously Chelsea have that history of sacking their managers when they're not performing, but Lampard, it's a tough one. I did a trap chat freestyle the other day. If you guys want to check that out, it was the previous video up on YouTube. And look, I pretty much said there that they should give him some time. That there's been what Lampard wanted transfer wise and what the club gave him. I don't think was what he really wanted. And they sound like 3-4 forwards. And is it right to blame Lampard for this? Look, 29 matches, 15 wins, 7 draws, 7 losses. For Chelsea's standards, not the best. He did so well to take Chelsea to Champions League, and to stay in Champions League as well. I don't know, I think it was a bit of an unfair sacking. Can you expect him to win with this team? I just think that the transfers that Chelsea gave him was a bit unfair. The team wasn't balanced at all. Look, they were coming 9th in Premier League, but they were only 5 points from 4th. Anything can happen. I still think they had a great chance to be in that top 4. And as again, overall with Chelsea, 84 games, 44 wins, 15 draws, 25 losses. A lot of losses for what you'd like with Chelsea, but 44 wins is still pretty good. I just don't think it's justified, and like Chelsea knew what they were doing when they signed him, because you can argue that he's not a Klopp, he's not a Mourinho, he's not a Pep, not someone that you'd want to stay, like obviously not a qualified coach. He did well with Derby, that's for sure, but he's not that top tier coach that you feel safe just keeping him there regardless of the results. But I guess that's the argument. But why did they sign him in the first place? It was when Chelsea had no transfers. They sold Hazard. He did so well to just play with that core youth team and bring them up and get that 4th place in Champions League. He's also done pretty well in Champions League. So, look, that's on Chelsea. I don't know how much money this cost them, but I think it is what it is. It is what it is. It's not what it's not, and it can't be what it isn't. So anyway, we'll go on to Guardiola's comments on the matter, and he's saying that you have to win as a coach. Young and old managers, here you have to win. The people talk about projects and ideas, but it doesn't exist. You have to win. If not, you will be sacked. I respect the decision from Chelsea, of course, but a huge hug for Frank, and hopefully I can see him soon. When the lockdown will be over, I can go to the restaurant and see him again. He was appointed at a team like Chelsea after the good job he had done at Derby. These people deserve it. But we depend on results, not the way we play. Not about philosophy or these kind of things or the projects. You have to get results. If you don't, you'll be replaced by another manager. And it's true. I mean, that's why I've never been a fan of attacking attractive football, because that doesn't win games. Results win games. And I think Guardiola maybe is like a different... I feel like Man City have Guardiola because of his philosophy, to be honest. But he also does win games. But, that's just... It's just part of football. If you don't win, you don't stay, you don't have a job. Lampard did have this sort of attacking football, and I guess I thought you think Chelsea signed him for that. They had Sarri because of that attacking formation. If you're going to sign Sarri, you're signing him for that attacking way of playing. Lampard came, didn't change too many things up. They were a bit more direct. And then Chelsea sack him. What can you do? I think Guardiola's completely right, though. In the big scheme of things, it's not about the philosophy, it's about winning. And I guess Chelsea are just about winning. So it doesn't really come to a surprise. It shouldn't be a surprise for us. But, hey, is what it is as well, Anyway, a few things have happened Well, guys, just let me know below. Do you think? I just want to know your thoughts on that Lampard sacking, especially Chelsea fans. Are they happy, or did they want Lampard to stay, see what he can do with the team? I think that he is proven that he can work with team players. What he did with Derby, what he did in his first year with that, just the youth players in Chelsea. I think he could have give him some time, and he would have done well. But the thing with Chelsea, with these big clubs, is you can't. With most clubs, really, you're not given that time, so you have to win. And I find it pretty unfair, pretty hard. But again, not much you can do. Also involved with that Chelsea, with that Lampard sacking, Morris, the Jody Morris and Chris Jones, who were Lampard's assistants, will also leave the club, having come to Chelsea from Derby. And yeah, that's news as well, but I think that was pretty expected. With Thomas Tuchel coming in, I don't think he would have those lads. I don't think he'd have those lads in there. But as I said, Jody Morris, I don't know how good they are as coaches, as assistant coaches, but I think they're definitely part of Lampard's team, and that's just expected. That's just expected. And now there's been articles about why Lampard did get the sack, and there's been some rumours that, I'll just pull this up here. There's been rumours that, Lampard, there was a bit of dressing room rows and transfer disputes. I think it's fair to say that the transfer disputes were right in the matter. It'd be pretty stupid. I don't know who the fuck was controlling Chelsea's transfers, but either way you look at it, it's stupid for them to want all these forwards, no defense. Like they need some defensive midfielders in there, and some just class defenders really. But yeah, look, articles are saying that they had some dressing room rows because of players not playing enough game time, and that there was just a weird vibe in that dressing room. But look, I don't know if there's too much I can say about that. The players' reactions to Lampard leaving have all been pretty positive. Positive in light towards Lampard. Like, they all wished him well. They all were disappointed that he left. So I don't know about the dressing room stuff. There was a bit of rumour of that with Sarri as well, with Kepa and everything like that. But I don't know, how can you disrespect Frank like that? Chelsea legend. He's just a nice, you'd think of him as a nice guy. He could have been just a complete fucking crazy person in the dressing room, but I doubt it. But I don't know. I do think that there was a bit of disagreement in the club for transfers, what he wanted and what they did get. But I guess I don't think Lampard would really make that a big deal. I think he was happy. Wasn't happy, but he didn't really complain about what he had to do, the team that he was given, especially when he had no transfers in that first year. But anyway, whoever was fucking signing those players was just a bit of a, I don't know, I don't think they knew what they were doing really. But anyway, do I think that was real? The dressing room rows? Probably not. Could have had some truth to it, but we don't really know. And the end matter is that Lampard was not winning games, and I guess that's on him. It's on Chelsea for sacking him. And look, Lampard has come out and said a few words as well. Breaks his silence after the Chelsea sacking, and we've all been waiting to hear what Frank has said, and came out of his mouth. Chelsea club has said that he wasn't winning enough, and Lampard, of course, has been grateful and said, "It's been a huge privilege and an honour to manage Chelsea, a club that has been a huge part of my life for so long. Firstly, I would like to thank the fans for the incredible support that I have received for the last 18 months. I hope they know what that means to me." When I took on this role, I understood the challenges that lay ahead in a difficult time for the football club. I am proud of the achievements that we made, and I am proud of the academy players that have made their step into the first team and performed well. They are the future of the club. I am disappointed not to have had the time this season to take the club forward and bring it to the next level. I want to thank Mr. Abramovich, the board, the players, my coaching team, and everyone at the club for their hard work and dedication, especially in these unprecedented and challenging times. I wish the club and the team every success in the future. Yeah, so look, you can obviously tell he was a bit disappointed. Well, look, a bit. That's what he said in his quote. I'm disappointed not to have had time this season to take the club forward and bring it to the next level. So I don't think he's a bit disappointed. I'm sure he's pretty fucking spewing right now, and that he's pretty angry in that sacking. As I said, I think it's a bit unjustified, but I'm sure he understands and respects the decision. But yeah, he's said that he wants to thank everyone, and he does think that the youth is the future of this club. So he's hoping, I'm sure his plan was to develop those players, Abraham, Mount, and just have that was kind of his philosophy, to have a young core and to keep that going. And hopefully Thomas Tuchel can keep that happening. I don't know. Hopefully, I don't think that that's going to happen though. That was Frank's dream, but most coaches, most managers do not like to play the youth. And as Pep said before, it's all about winning. So I don't think Tuchel's going to take that approach to Chelsea. I think he's going to play with the best team, as he should really, and see how that goes. We'll talk about Tuchel a bit later, but that was Frank's saying there. And I think he has a right to be disappointed. He has a right to be angry about it. I think he would be pretty happy in what he did there at Chelsea, making Champions League. They're only, what did I say, 6 points or so from the top, 5 from 4th. So they could have done it. I guess it was Chelsea's decision, saying, they need something to happen now. They also came out and said that there's been no indication that Chelsea would come out of the slump that they're in. So that's fair enough. Anyway, that's all you can say about it. Mourinho had something to say on the matter. I think he was just asked about if he's spoken to Frank or not. And after Spurs win in the Cup, he's come out and said, I don't think Frank wants to speak to me or with anyone apart from his close circle of family and friends. But I am always sad when a colleague loses his job, and Frank is not just a colleague. He is an important person in my career, so I feel sorry he did. But it is the brutality of football, especially modern football. So when you become a manager, you know that sooner or later it is going to happen to you. And yeah, it goes on to talk about Spurs, which we'll touch on later. But yeah, look, it's the same as what Pep said. It's pretty much the same thing. Like, everyone knows this about modern football. It's the brutality of football, modern football. When you become a manager, you know that sooner or later it's going to happen to you. And Mourinho speaks out of experience. It happened to him at Chelsea. It happened to him at Manchester United just recently as well. And especially at Man United, I think he had a bit of a bad rap there. So I think that he would have taken Man United back to the top. But they're doing well right now, so it's neither here nor there. But anyway, that's Mourinho's comments, and I agree with him, really. Yeah, I don't think that he has a very close relationship with Mourinho, especially since they've both been managers of different teams. So I don't think he'd be talking to him, but he might catch up with him in that restaurant that Pep was talking about, have a bit of a feed. But yeah, look, that's that. Now, Chelsea sacked Lampard, and the rumours are, I do not know if it's official, but I think it's pretty official, that Thomas Tuchel is going to be the new Chelsea coach. And is that a bit of a surprise to me? I wouldn't say it's a surprise. There was rumours around Allegri and Brendan Rodgers, who might be considered for the future. But I I think Tuchel is a pretty safe choice. Will he be much more better than Frank? Who knows? He had a bit of a struggle at he had a bit of a struggle in PSG. He did make the Champions League final, but I feel like it was kind of more of the same stuff that PSG, the owners there weren't feeling that PSG were playing up to what they could be playing. So I don't know if this will be a great signing for Chelsea, but he is an attacking manager as well, I find. So I don't think too much will change in the formation and the progression from Sarri, Lampard, and now to Tuchel. And I think that some of these players will play well under him. Pulisic, Werner, Havertz, all these German type players they've played in Germany before. I think that it could be good for them, and that does bring us to another article here. Berhalter commented on the Tuchel signing, and he is the USMNT boss. Is that the US? Yes, the US of A national manager. So he is coaching the Yanks, really. Let's be honest here. And I did not know he was a manager. I don't really know who he is, but he's come out and said this for the appointment of Tuchel. For Christian, I think the benefit is if Tuchel is a coach that he knows him very well, and that's always important. He's coming in with a really good understanding of what Christian can do and his skill set, and I think that's important. He also has seen Christian develop and improve over his time at Dortmund, and for Christian, it's the familiarity with how he coaches his coaching staff, his communication style. That's all helpful. There's not that uncomfortable period when you're getting to know the coach. I think those could possibly be the benefits. In terms of Frank not being coach anymore, it's a really tough business. Chelsea is a top club and they expect wins in all of the games that they play, and it's very difficult for managers to deal with that. It's never a nice thing when a colleague loses his job. In terms of the replacement, if it's Tuchel, we do have relationships with that staff, and I'm sure we'll be able to pick up right where we left off. And Tuchel's obviously managed Pulisic at his days in BVB Dortmund, and as I said, I think a few players are going to shine under him. Hopefully, Werner has not had the best start to his Chelsea career. Havertz as well. These guys have not played as to what has been expected of them. Pulisic has had a pretty good career under Lampard, but again, it is an advantage for Tuchel because he's seen him play. He's safe. He's a safe player to put his chances with. And the only trouble is that Chelsea, with all these fucking forwards that they have, Ziyech, Werner, Havertz, Mount, and everything, that it's going to be a tough selection for him to choose who's the best player. And I think to start, he's going to just go with Pulisic. These guys that he knows, Werner because he's probably German, and Havertz and all this. But I think that might be where he might start off there. Now, let's have a look at Tuchel's stats. All stats. Now, he has, as I said, he did get dropped from PSG because they just weren't playing to what they wanted him to. He had a few players there that he wasn't playing, that he didn't really favour. Mauro Icardi, to be precise. Now we'll look at these detailed stats here. And he has been playing 5 at the back in his last few games with Paris. 3 at the back, 5 at the back. But he is a bit of a, dare I say, a bit of a gamble here for Chelsea. Do I think that he will come in, start winning? It's possible. I still think that the problems lie with Chelsea, that they don't have enough defenders, they don't have enough defensive midfielders. So it may be hard, but it could bring them a bit of a spark. These attacking players who have been flopping could actually just come back and play amazing. And that's what I was going to say, that, you know, it might be good for these German players, but the players that Lampard has built up, you got your youth players, Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham. I don't know if they'll play. I don't know if they'll get the same amount of game time that they were getting under Lamps. So that could be a bit of a worry for them. And as always, though, if they're good enough, they'll play. If not, it's fair. They'll get dropped. But so let's have a look at his stats. Under Dortmund, 107 matches, 69 wins, 20 draws, 18 losses. That's averaging around 2.12 points per game. And at PSG, 127 matches, 96 wins, 11 draws, 20 losses. He did make the Champions League final, but he also was playing in Ligue 1, which is a bit of a... Look, it's definitely not what he's going to be used to here, playing competitive matches in and out in England. So it's interesting. I kind of liken this to like an Arsenal type team now. You know, you have your kind of like an Arsene Wenger type, how they play, a lot of possession, a lot of attacking flair, an attractive style. Whatever that guy's name who went to Arsenal before, that other Arsenal coach, what's his name? It's fucking gonna kill me now. But I think that Chelsea do have a good chance to get back into the top four. And just the only question is, would have it happened with... would it have happened with Lampard? And I guess that's just the question we'll never know. And that's the thing with these sort of sackings, that anything could have happened. Anything could have happened. Anyway, the manager I'm thinking of, who is it? They have Arteta now at Arsenal. Oh my god, this is going to kill me. This is going to kill me. Wengy's post-Wenger. Unai Emery, that's it. Unai Emery, I think he'll kind of be that sort of, you know, thing that happened with him. Their defense was trash and they just didn't perform. Hopefully not. I think Chelsea are they kind of have their finger on the pulse a bit more than Arsenal, so it could happen where if Tuchel's kind of slacking off, even if he loses a few games, he's going to get the fucking gun to his head and they'll just drop him. So he's hoping that they can sign a few players. Hopefully they can sign players that Tuchel really wants. And as a Tuchel team, this is probably a pretty good team. So look, that's that. And now we'll move on to the next topic. And before that, guys, let me know what you guys think Tuchel will be in Chelsea. Could he bring him back to their glory days? As I said, they've got a good ground, basically. They just need a few more players just sprinkled in there, a few defensive players, and I think they've got a pretty good team. It's just a bit unbalanced at the moment. So more than likely, Tuchel's going to do well, and he's hoping. Pulisic, as Bolhelter said, the good old US of A coach, that Pulisic will probably get some game time, and good on him. Anyway, guys, we'll leave it there. There was a bit more news to get through, but I'll leave it there for now. I actually didn't write the notes for the rest of it, so that's why it probably felt a bit shitter than the top half of the video. So, yeah, guys, thanks for watching. I want to know what you guys think about all this news that I've gone on through. Mbappe, Alexander-Arnold, Guardiola's comments, Lampard sacking, that is the big one. And, yeah, put it down in the comments below. Like the video. Stay subscribed. I'll be releasing a few more videos and stuff throughout these weeks, so it should be good fun. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you linesmen later.